Hey, it's TimesCark11, and since this is the most common question I always get, here is a video on how I color my LEGO Pokemon and minifigures. First off, these are the main things that I use. Some markers, pencil, and correction fluid. Specifically, I use whiteout. So first off, with LEGO Pokemon, I build the whole thing first. Then I take all the individual pieces apart to color them. So for the first part, I put them on this little thing so that I don't get my hands dirty with paint. I use this over actual paint because it dries much faster, like within 30 seconds, and it's ridiculously cheap. Oh, and also it's much easier to take off if you mess up than regular paint is. Also, generally, I only cover over the parts that are actually going to be visible on the outside of the Pokemon once it's finished, which is why in the tutorial videos you'll often see random colors on the pieces before they're put together. That's because those parts of the pieces just get covered up anyway, so there's no point in coloring them in. So I just leave them their original colors. So the next thing after putting over, I guess you could call it a primer, since that's more or less what I use it for, is I draw on any details that need to be put on with pencil. So an eye, for example. Or let's say body coloration differences, such as with Charizard's stomach. Then next is coloring those details in. Then to go over again with pencil to give an outline. Or add on additional lines if necessary. And then with eyes and certain other details, if they need a little drop of white added on. It's mostly just eyes that need it, then I very carefully put on a little dot. That came out with a bit too much, so that's pretty much how every LEGO Pokemon and minifigure gets colored in. Sometimes, if there's details that can't be made with pieces alone, like mostly with minifigure hair and clothing, but occasionally Pokemon need stuff added on them too, I'll use pieces of paper and tape to tape the paper on before coloring it, because for some reason this stuff makes tape not stick to it at all. I think it's really hard to get tape to stick to it, but sticks very well to the base plastic of the Lego pieces themselves, so you need to put the paper taped on before painting and coloring it. I'll probably have a second video going over how to make those paper detailed things that I add on to mostly minifigures, but occasionally Pokemon such as Pheromosa, which was just recently shown. So, see you next time!